Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the 7th edition of the No Pain Podcast. Today we are sitting here with Nick Hopkinson and his bonus son, racing apprentice, ADDY. Nick is a freelance racer and a team leader for BAM Racing and Demolition. He allowed us to sponsor his race car, and we're excited to sit here and talk with him about it. So I'm going to hand it off to Mike, and we're going to get things started. How are you doing today, Mike?
Good day, good day, good day. Oh my, busy, not enough hours in the day. Put it that way. I'm really glad to have Nick and ADDY here today. We sponsored their race cars there last year, and we plan on keeping that sponsorship going. So it's been pretty interesting following them along. I know COVID threw us some curveballs, and but man, we even got some racing in this year, did we?
Yeah, last year we had 8 race days. So it was pretty good.
Awesome, and you did some digital racing, I saw. What was that all about?
iRacing, it's virtual iRacing simulating game. So it's just like all the top competitors, NASCAR and all them guys use it too, and Indy cars and Formula One guys, and it's pretty interesting actually, and it keeps you on your toes.
Really? So what are you doing exactly at that time?
While I'm doing that,
yeah,
I'm sitting in my chair just like this one and figuring out different lines and different strategies on how to do it properly, and it kind of gives you a little bit of benefits on the track, I shall say.
Okay. So like are you using like a computer or?
Yeah, I've got a computer and a race wheel and pedals and a shifter and
neat,
other fun stuff.
Cool. So how'd you get into this racing gig?
Well, back when I was probably 10 years old, my stepdad used to take me out to Race City here, and I used to watch them race, and they had one of their cars out there, and they raced, and I grew up watching it, saying I wanted to do it, and when I was 21, I decided that I was going to do it, and started with demolition.
Oh yeah. So how long you been doing it now then?
9 years.
9 years. Awesome, man. Awesome. And so ADDY, how do you get into all of this? How do you tie in?
Well, when I was like 6, I think, I started hanging out with Nick, and then I started like building motors and stuff with him, and then kept watching him race for a bit, and then started to like it, and then until we moved here into Calgary, I got thrown into a race car on the track for my first time. It was all right. I liked it, and then I decided to get myself a car, so I started racing, and yeah.
Nice. And how old are you there, ADDY?
14.
14. Okay. Oh, wow. You're gonna be pretty experienced by the time you're in your 20s.
Yep.
Good work. So would you say racing's in your blood?
Yeah.
Nice. So like how much like hands-on experience you got so far?
Quite a bit. Like, I know how to build a 350 motor.
Yep.
Yeah, I know how to build one of those, and then I know most things about cars, but yeah.
Okay. And so how do you help out Nick here when he's racing?
Well, like, I'll be in the pits usually, but now that I'm racing, I'm usually out on the track and stuff, but if I'm in the pits and he comes in, he needs help, I'm there to help him and stuff, so.
Awesome. Okay. And what would you say the hardest job you've had doing with him? Like what's the challenge?
Oh man, I couldn't really know. There's a lot of things, like.
I think the hardest one for Addison would be when when they start sanding the vehicles, because what I say is the hardest part of your job is getting your car looking nice. That car on the screen there, we probably got 30 hours of sanding into it, getting it ready just for paint.
Oh yeah.
So.
Oh man, all that work just to see it get all beat up in a race, hey?
Yep.
Well, that's pretty it's pretty interesting though, guys. So Nick, what are your aspirations with Team BAM?
What my aspirations? Can you explain that?
So I mean, just like, where do you want to go with it? I mean, I know you're at this certain point. Like, do you like it where it is right now, or you kind of take it to the next level, or what's going on there?
I'd like to grow into a bigger team. I've always wanted to check out late mods and trucks and all that in different series and all that. But right now, I'm slowly progressing my way up. I started out as doing demolitions, and now I'm making myself into a hobby. I was one of the guys, a part of a track out in Regina, and we built the truck class out there. and I was the president of the class there for, 2 years. And then I decided to up and move to BC, and out there I've got to witness some dwarfs, sprint cars, late models, hit the pass cars, all that other stuff. And that's kind of where I'd like to be, is down the road, is in a late model, but those things have a hefty sign to go with them when you buy them.
So what do you mean by that exactly?
They're not no $500 car.
Okay,
They're
right.
$20,000, $30,000, $40,000 cars.
And I don't imagine you'd end up in a derby with one of those.
No.
Yeah.
You go out to a farmer's field and you find yourself a nice little beater out there.
Okay, yeah. So the derby end of things, it's always going to be kind of like that, you think?
Demolition derbies, the prices vary now. Like, everything's gone up in prices because everything's getting harder to find. But with derby cars, my first time racing, I bought a car for, I think it was $100. And ran that thing. I think I made it a minute in the ring.
Oh, yeah.
And I got hurt really bad. So
Oh.
it was a fun and interesting day.
So when you got hit that time, no injuries though, hey?
I got knocked out, severe torn muscles in my neck and my back, broke 2 toes, and I had a slit probably 8 inches long up my wrist. Strapped to a stretcher and cut out of my car and sent to the hospital for a nice ride, and stared at the roof and counted dots on the roof.
That was your first derby?
First demolition derby.
Holy crap! Okay, and I think we have a picture of that on here, don't we?
Yeah.
Okay, let's take a look here.
Just the car, I believe, after the race.
After the race. Okay, let's see here.
That one right there.
And where'd you get hit?
Right behind it says, "How's my driving?"
Oh,
I had 2 flat tires on the right side, and I was stuck in the bank.
Wow.
Right where that truck is in the picture there, there's a little bank in there, and I got stuck on the bank, and a guy came across in an old Lincoln and drilled me right there and hit me so hard the door bar where you could see the brown paint on the driver's side door actually shot off 20 feet.
oh okay. Wow.
So it was a fun and
Intense.
interesting day.
So what do you remember after, like, you got knocked out, right? So like what?
I remember when I actually got hit, I jumped up and twisted my head sideways up on the roof, and then I jumped out the window, and then I laid down on the seat, and I went to go sit back up, and I just couldn't sit up, so I just kind of laid back down and just relaxed for a few minutes, and I had firefighters and paramedics pinning me in my seat and not letting me move. And
Oh yeah.
it was an interesting day. First time I've ever had to experience something like that.
That's quite a day. So Addie, does that story deter you from anything?
No, I was thinking about doing a derby this year. I
Oh,
want to
yeah.
try one.
That's if his mother allows him to do
Oh
it.
yeah. What could you see yourself driving in a demolition derby?
Not really too sure.
Whatever you
Something
running?
strong.
Yeah.
Something to last long.
Sounds like you should drive a Lincoln. Yeah. Okay. And what's the age limit on that demolition derby?
It varies different places. Some places they have down in the States they have a junior league where it's kids. I think it's like 12 to 15 that race cars like that. And then up here, I don't really know the actual age limits. I'm gonna say it's 16 probably.
Okay. And then after that, it's kind of you're in with the adults now.
You don't go in when you jump in the derby ring. You don't go in with just kids. You're out with the big guys.
Yeah.
There's no light
Fair.
hits. There's no, I'm just going to give you a little bump here. You're getting track shotted. You're getting hit hard.
What would you say the oldest guy you've ever been in a demolition derby with?
Probably 55-ish, 60-ish.
Yeah.
And he's actually the guy who got me into this car right here, and I started racing with. I went out to Stoughton 2 months later with his car. And the guy who actually put me in the hospital, I hit him so many times, he bent his steering wheel in half.
Oh.
And he's like, I think if you hit me a couple more times, I would have went for one of those rides too.
Oh yeah. Holy. Dangerous business. Did that car ever recover like you did?
No. I think that car got squished.
So I imagine that's what happens to most of the cars then afterwards.
Yeah, like I've gotten that car still would have been capable for another run. I've done a demolition derby with 79 Lincoln Mark V, and I went up against a guy who had a 63 Olds. I don't remember exactly what it was, but I got it from him the next year. he had a 396 rocket in it, and I put a 350 into it. And I went out there, and I was sitting there just track shotting everybody, and the front end actually folded up so bad that it destroyed the distributor cap, pinched the wires, broke the tranny lines. It was pretty fun.
Something tells me you just love that though, hey? When it does shit like that.
A lot of people run and get scared when you see a big car like that coming into a corner to hit somebody, so it's fun. You make yourself a name, and I had a good reputation out in Saskatchewan for that. I was pretty well known when I was in my home track or gone to every other track, so I wasn't in it to win. I was always in it just to put on a show. Best finish I've gotten Derby and was second.
Oh, okay.
I've done truck and trailer races. I've gotten third. I had a 22-foot bumper pull on a 80s Dodge Ram truck. And I had my buddy who was one of my Derby guys. He had a Ford F-250 jacked up, and he went flying through my camper over the box of my truck, and we got pinned up in 3 and 4. So it's pretty interesting stuff you do.
It sounds like some Daredevil stuff almost, you know.
It's a lot of fun.
So Addy, what's your inspiration with getting into this, would you say?
I just like it a lot. It's always like something that I've wanted to do, and it looks fun to do, and it's cool and stuff.
So do you like watch a lot of like shows on any kind of stuff?
Watch like NASCAR and stuff and that kind of type of stuff, yeah.
As far as NASCAR goes, is that something that you definitely want to do?
I don't know. Maybe, but I don't know if that's gonna happen.
Hey man, I say why not? Why wouldn't it? I mean, the saying goes, you get what you want, you know. So hey, don't bring it off the table, you know.
Yeah.
So you got one of your vehicles were in the Netflix.
Yeah, on Rust Valley Restorations, they came out to Western Speedway last year, and they were doing Hit the Pass. And with the Hit the Pass, it's drive as hard as you can into the person in front of you.
Oh.
And while they were out there filming that, they ended up getting a couple claimers and a couple they call them bombers out there.
So what's a claimer and a bomber?
A claimer is you can go up to the track and buy that car for a set amount of price and start racing it next race day. A bomber is what I'm pretty much building right now, but we call them hobby stocks out here, and it's a 350 to 602 crate engine. It's full out racing, 20, 30 to 50 laps roughly. So, and out on Western Speedway, they usually averaged about 50 laps for the features and 20 laps for the heats and all that. And the claimers were probably 15, 20-ish each. So
15, 20 laps?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if somebody wants to check out your car, how would they see it on Rust Valley?
It's on season 2. I'm not 100% sure which episode, but it's a little baby blue Cavalier with number 7 on it. It's not my normal number I run, but.
And I'm assuming your normal number is 77?
Yes.
Okay. Interesting. And Addy, what's your number?
It's 78. That's what I picked this year.
78. Okay. Interesting. So, like, as far as sponsorships go, how many sponsorships are you looking for? How many can be on a car? You know,
you could run as many as you want. The main thing I'm looking for sponsorship for is not to be rich and famous and all that. I'm looking for I can go out and buy myself a couple $100 worth of parts, or be able to get myself to the track and not have to worry about stressing every time it comes to racing, because racing comes with a big tag on the end of it at every day, because it's not cheap. Our average race day last year was $300 per person per car, so it helps us out,
right?
It helps us allow doing what we do, and it gets name and advertising out. And usually we like going to car shows, but last year because of COVID we weren't allowed to do that either, so we couldn't really do much for advertising. But everything we do on the track for sponsorships and all that we always, like, when we go into the pits, we get a paper and it says put your sponsors' names and all that, and they say it out on them announcements when they introduce you as a driver. So, and yeah, we basically look for help, not to make money off people or anything. It's just helping us buy parts. And like tires. Just normal tire at a wrecker is $45. He's 14 years old. He doesn't have that type of money, so.
Right. Hey, so by basically by sponsoring this Team BAM, you're kind of helping the newer generation get into the racing gig.
Yeah, last year I brought in, it was me and my brother-in-law that started, and then I spontaneously sitting in lineup, and then I didn't want to race, so I threw him into it. Now I got him attracted, and I got a couple other people who are more interested in racing, and now they want to do it too. But with the sponsorships, it's going to help us get them to the track every race day.
Gotcha.
So.
Okay. So how many, like, so I mean, how many sponsors you got right now?
Right now, since we've got 3. We've got, you guys know Paint Roofing. I got Cloverdale Paint. Cloverdale Paint, sorry. And then we've got TNA Auto Spa and Lawn.
Okay. And how many more people or sponsors do you think you could fit on your schedule or car?
I could fit. I can't really say an exact number because any sponsor really helps, because with their cars it helps with buying parts and stuff so they can race every day. With mine, it's my car is a little more pricier than just a claimer. So any sponsor that can come out and help us would be perfect, and we can make it ways in there.
Okay, so you take who you can, and so how exactly do you promote your sponsors?
Well, I've got the team page, I promote them, and then we go to car shows, and then when we're racing too, like every finish, I kept you updated and in a loop last year, with letting you know how we did, and we didn't have so much luck though, but we kind of try keeping everybody in the loop, and we like to promote on our page. I'll do it on my personal page and my team page, and then I get Addison to share it, and his mom shares it, and his dad shares it, and family, and so on and so on. And then with Cloverdale Paint, my dad's the manager there, so he shares everything I do because I'll Cloverdale Paint.
Oh, okay.
So everything now reaches out to more and more people, and it's pretty interesting how it kind of spreads out.
Okay. Well, hey. Well, I mean, anybody watching this, I mean, I could say that I've benefited from having my sponsorship here. It's been great. It's been really good for getting the social media content, and yeah. So I mean, definitely sponsor Team BAM Racing if you have the mind to. Now, what's a typical sponsor amount that you're looking for when you get them?
With claimers, I have a low price just starting. It's just $250 just to get the guys out there. If you do the team, as the claimers, we did $500 for the team, and then with the hobby, it's pretty much $300 to $500 just to get your name on there and get it out and advertised. And it seems like lots, but at the end of the day, that $300 to $500 for my car, well, that's brand new tires in my car, $120 a piece.
Well, I don't honestly. I don't think it's. I don't think it seems like a lot. It will seem like a lot depending on the exposure, like from a business point of view. So, like, how many people would you say see your car when you race?
When I race, last year Drumheller actually was never that packed, and we had probably. Well, with the first race day, they had a 200 spectator limit, and it was sold out in 15 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
And then you got to add, if there's 30 cars for claimers, and then 20 hobbies, and 20 mods, and all that, then you think each one of them bring 3 people for a pit crew. The numbers start going up. So a lot of people actually see and say and notice a lot, too. So.
Okay. And for sure. And what would you say the largest viewership that you've gotten in a race?
Would have been out at Western Speedway. Actually, it was probably averaging about 1,500 people a night, and it was during the hit to pass nights and all that stuff too. So it's a lot of show. And this year I plan on doing Saskatchewan tour. Or not Saskatchewan, Alberta, and BC challenge, and it's a street stock challenge that's being hosted from Kings Park Speedway, Saskatoon's track, and then Heat, I believe the name is, and they're doing a shootout, and that's 3 different tracks in 3 different provinces. So I think their fan bases will be up there too. So if I can get myself out there and. Street stocks, I won't stand that much of a chance with them, but at least it's some promotion and showing.
So why do you say you won't stand much of a chance?
Bigger cars.
Bigger cars.
bigger
Yeah.
pockets.
Gotcha. Yeah. So okay. So a lot of it has to do with funding.
Yes, racing all bases off funding.
You're the underdog.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, my money's going on you. All right. Okay. Well, that's all really interesting stuff here. Well, let's move to some of these photos here that we got. So we got that one, which was pretty crazy. I know you.
My driving wasn't good that day.
Oh, nice. So what's going on here?
The Fort McMurray fire. We went up with 4 trucks and a trailer to pull over on the side of the road. We drove all night long, loaded up a 22-foot dump trailer full of water and fuel and food and all that, and went and sat on the side of the highway for 2 days.
Awesome. And so I'm assuming that you helped quite a few people with that.
Yeah, we filled up a couple cars and gave a lot of water and food and everything, anything we could to help. We even had our own breakdown sitting just outside of Fort McMurray, where I had to actually rip the intercooler out of the truck I'm sitting in there.
Oh, adventure. So how long were you out there in total?
3 days.
3 days. Oh, crazy. Well, that's really really nice of you, man. You got a heart of gold on you. 'Cause I didn't go. That's for sure. Let's take a look here. What's going on here?
Demolition Derby in Regina. I'm in the orange car there. That car is actually my best friend's car. He was killed in a car accident outside of Regina, and his parents couldn't do anything with the car, so they gave it to me as sponsorship to race and destroy. So I painted it all his colors, and his whole family came out, and yeah, I went up against the guys I started derbying with, and the car did a really good job. A 70s Monaco I went up against. I hit him going across the track, and I pushed him pretty much all the way from the center of the track to the outside of it.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, it was fun until the fuel cell decided to blow up on me, and I was covered in gas.
Oh.
I got out of that car really fast.
Wow. No way, yeah. So there's kind of a bit of sentimental value to that car, you could say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Addison was there helping me build that, and if you look somewhere in the stands on the big tall bleachers to the left there of us, he's probably in there.
Oh, yeah. Awesome. How did you do in this demolition derby?
Terrible.
Terrible. Yeah.
Actually, not really bad. The first heat, there was 4 of us. It was me and my ex, and then 2 of the other guys I used to race with. And they started teaming up on her, and then I started going after them, and it went to them coming after me. And then my battery cable actually came off, and the one car lit on fire, and I stopped and tried warning him, and when fire went out, and my car shut off.
That's crazy. So good gasoline spraying and fire going on.
That was in the feature. The gas tank blew up.
Okay. And do you wear any special clothing or anything just to make sure you don't light on fire? You know.
Fire retardant coveralls, normal shoes, helmet, neck brace.
Oh, okay.
Gloves if I want some days. When I'm racing, we have to wear, like circle track racing, we have to wear gloves. But derbying, don't really have to.
So when they say you have to wear gloves, is that something you would just do anyway, or would you not?
I started after a couple of years. I didn't really care about anything. I ran cars with no door bars, really no protection at all. And then I started doing it as I'd put a piece of foam beside me. I'd ordered a neck brace, started wearing a neck brace all the time. Gloves I'd wear all the time. As much as gloves are irritating, because I like the feel of the wheel of the car when I'm racing, because I can feel vibrations and such. But now it's more so protective. With the Addison and then with the Claimer class, they've got a full windshield right across them, so they don't have to worry about much hitting their hands. With my car that I'm building right now, I've got no protection for my hands, so I'll be going out and buying myself some fire retardant gloves to make sure my knuckles stay good for the end of the day.
Oh, well, hey, that sounds smart to me. So would you say that you've become more safety conscious with time doing this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've done some crazy things, and I think the worst couple I've done was after the hit the pass in Regina. We had a couple drinks and cars were sitting at the acreage there, and I decided to do a little demolition derby, and the throttle left engaged and wouldn't shut off. The car wouldn't. Yeah, buddy moved, and I ended up taking off and did a barrel roll over a hill and landed on the roof, and that was fun. And then Western Speedway 2 years ago. I did a rollover competition with that much of my helmet away from the roof.
Oh, wow. So that's basically a broken neck a little further. Is that what you're kind of saying?
I kind of ducked down and laid to the side.
Wow.
So with all that stuff I've been doing, I've been kind of looking more into the safety aspect. I'm kind of wanting to get a Hans device and get him wearing one too.
What's a Hans device?
It goes over your shoulders, and then your 5-point harness will overlap over it, and then it clips onto your helmet. So when you get hit, your head doesn't really move. It just kind of tweaks just side to side a little bit and keeps your head and neck nice and straight so you don't get hurt.
So basically a whiplash thing.
Stops whiplash and saves a lot, yeah.
So the helmet, I guess, could be a bit dangerous in a way with all that weight, right?
They have, depends. Like, you can just go to Canadian Tire, buy a helmet, and those ones got some weight to it. But if you actually order the right helmet online and the proper race and stuff, they're fairly light.
So you'd say a lighter helmet's a safer helmet in a lot of ways?
Depends where you go get it from. You could get a knockoff one, which I wouldn't wear, or you can get a one from Race Quip or something like that, and they're actually pretty good helmets, and they do all their tests and all that. And I've watched a lot of crazy accidents happen, and those guys were walking away perfectly fine.
Oh, so it makes a big difference.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's move on to the next clip here. So what's happening here?
That's truck class. We started out at Kings Park. And myself, my buddy Lucas, and my buddy Nathan, and our friend Leona there. We started that class, I don't even remember what year. 2016 or 17? One of the two. But it's just a beginner entry class. We started out in Regina. Pretty much I bought my truck for $1,000 and put a motor, tranny, and all that. And that was the underdog truck right there. And and it made it really far until it kept blowing up motors and trannies. And
right. So all of these parts, so like that you're using here, like they're not fresh parts then, hey? They're miled out?
No, I go to the junkyard, get everything I can.
Yeah.
I've blown up a motor, and I've rebuilt a motor with my buddy in the 46 truck and two. And the 46 truck came in with a bag of lifters, and I started putting them in with a 2x4 and a hammer when they should just slide in.
Oh, crazy. Where do you get most of your parts?
I look online, I watch online. I'd like to keep ordering new, but that comes with more payments, and
right.
It just gets more of a pain in the butt for me.
So like, what kind of cash are you looking at winning when you win these things?
High five.
High five, yeah.
There's no money. You get trophies. This we gave out stickers if you won. End of the year, we all sat around and built trophies out of broken motors, and that's what we gave away. And then they started giving away actual trophies at the end of the year for everybody. And then Western Speedway, every race you won, you got a trophy. And, Drumheller, for their features, they do the same thing too. Every feature race you win, you get a trophy.
And so at what point in time, like, are you able to, make some money for winning these races?
Those would be going to the Invitationals. The one that they have going on in Saskatchewan, Alberta, and BC is supposed to be a big purse going out, is what we'll call it. And you do really good in your point standing throughout all three races. You can walk away with a couple $1,000.
Oh yeah.
But you're also spending a couple $1,000 in fuel too. So.
Right. And so those are invitation ones.
Those are invitationals.
So invitational. So I'm assuming that you have to win a bunch of races to get invited.
Nope.
Oh,
show up and run your home track rules.
Oh, okay.
So.
And why don't you race in any of those?
This is the first year I've actually done hobby stocks. I took that truck out to Outlook and did the Invitational out there and got third.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, third in points out of like 12 trucks. And then last year, the Claimers, they don't do an Invitational other than Edmonton. They do a enduro race. And then this year, they've got the Invitationals for Swift Current, Medicine Hat, Drumheller. I'm not sure if Drumheller's hosting an Invitational. But Regina, Saskatoon, Edmonton, everywhere hosts invitationals pretty much, and it's just a purse of money you go race for, and hopefully you don't destroy your car trying to win it.
Right. Hey, totally. So when you destroy your car, you like a little upset?
I've thrown my helmet at my vehicles a few times.
Okay. So how often are you out there racing?
We average with Drumheller. They have 10 race days, and it's you average a month apart each race. But it's 2 race days a weekend. Friday or Saturday, Sunday we'll race, and then off for a month, and then Friday, Saturday. I don't have the schedule on me for that one right now, but and then with the invitationals, they're usually a 2-day event. So you go out there and you run those 2 days. If you do the little tour that they have going on, then that's 6 days of racing right there for that too. So my goal this year is to try getting at least 20 race days in, but it all depends on what I can bring in for sponsorship to help get the transportation and all that to get there.
So how what would you say your average is for racing in a year?
Average, I'm gonna say 10.
10. Okay, so you want to double it.
Yeah.
All right, step it up. All right. Well, let's see the next slide here. Oh, last file. Okay, let's see. I think there's one that we didn't talk about in here. Oh. So what's going on here?
So my buddy out on the island, his name's Justin. He's a photographer, and he came out and he was explaining about this crystal ball. He wanted to do some photography and get some racing because on the island they had no racing. So he got me to hold this crystal ball up and take the picture, and that thing was just awesome. Don't recommend putting that on your hand because it burns really fast. Oh yeah. But he came out, took pictures of the car and racing, and he experienced dirt track racing, and he just loved it.
What's that DS at the bottom there?
Drift and Spirit Photography.
Oh, okay. Drift and Spirits Photography, and
he actually he's got a Facebook page too. I think that's his Facebook page. It says on the bottom.
Okay. So this crystal ball, like, so you just had it for, taking pictures through?
Yeah, that's the main purpose of what he got it for. I don't have it. He brought it out, and I thought that was the coolest thing in the world. And he says he loves taking pictures with that. He posts photos on his website, his Facebook page there, and those things are just beautiful with how he gets like the birds and animals and all that other stuff and racing, and it's just pretty neat how he does that. I thought it was pretty creative when he came out with that, and I was like, I like that with the background and the front, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's neat. That's neat for sure. I'd probably use it to tell the future. I don't know. Why do I like that?
You could use it to cook food or start fires too, man.
does it all, hey?
Yeah.
So I guess that's the car that we've sponsored.
Both of them would be. That one was my brother-in-law, Travis. He did, it was his first year racing last year. And he used to do what ADDY did and watch me all the time. And I finally convinced him to start racing. And that's the outcome. Car is really fast, actually. It did pretty good. He was a beginner, so he wasn't the greatest in it. But I jumped in it, and the thing was a rocket. Until it sounded like an old Detroit tractor firing up one day. Found out we lost a hole in the motor.
So is that when you had to put her down?
Yeah. Took our stuff out of it, sent it to the wreckers.
All right, let's see what else. What's going on here?
That's Western Speedway. That's actually, that car right there was by far the fastest car I ran out there. That thing was fun. That track is phenomenal, and actually Western Speedway just sold out too, so they might be tearing down that track, and that track's been around for I think 60 plus years now, so
Sad.
yeah, it's a historic track is what they call it. But that place there, we used to run 30 cars a night when we raced. And
oh yeah, so you had a lot of memories there.
1 year, 5 wide in a corner, man. It was a lot of fun. Got into a nice accident there too.
Oh yeah. What happened with the accident?
Some kid spun out and got clipped in the left rear, and I was going on the inside, and I hit him. He was dead stop, and I hit him doing 80K. knocked him out. There was no intentions. I didn't even see him coming. I just put him like he got hit hard and went to sleep. And I bent the steering wheel in half to my car and buggered up my wrists. And yeah.
So that's obviously not what you're trying to do in a race.
No, I have no intentions to go out there and hurt people.
Yeah.
There's a bump and run, but hitting somebody or trying to take somebody out intentional is not what I do.
And what's a bump and run?
As my buddy in Saskatchewan calls it, is the punta.
The punta.
You run up behind them in the corner, you push them into the corner and watch them slide off the track, and you take off.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Okay. It's almost like a pit maneuver.
You try staying as square as you can to their bumpers so you don't take them out.
Okay.
So you want to lock bumpers and give them that shove into the corner where they screw up and slide off the track, and you.
Okay, so pit maneuver would be pretty dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So it's a lot different. All right. Well, I don't know my terms. I'll tell you that. Okay. Well, I think that's our full slide here. So, Addie, what outside of racing and stuff, what's some hobbies and interests of yours?
Talking about like with racing or other things?
Outside of racing, what do you like to do?
I like playing basketball. I think this year when I go into next year when I go into high school, I'm gonna try out for basketball, and then maybe even football in grade 11. And then I want to try out hockey, but I don't know. We'll see about that.
Yeah. Why are you hesitant on hockey?
I don't know. I like skating. It's pretty fun.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Body slams into the boards, probably.
Yeah.
It's not a car protecting me. It's all your own body now.
So you're a pretty big sports guy then.
Yeah. It's pretty fun.
Active. Yeah. Be careful with that body, man. It catches up to you when you're older, and they start being like, "Oh, that didn't hurt before," you know.
Yeah.
How about you, Nick?
Outside of racing, my life revolves my family. My hobbies is spending time with my two beautiful girls and my wife, and Addison when he's around, and his family when we're allowed to see each other again after COVID. And other than that, it's my family. I like building. I love building cars and working on cars, so that's the main reason I like my racing. So it's my hobby pretty much, but it's a hobby on top of a hobby on top of a hobby.
Right.
So.
Hey, well, that's pretty convenient. I'm a big supporter of doing what you love.
Yeah. And we also do camping too. We like going out to Wipers. Wipers we go to. Or we go out to Carbon last year. We went to Carbon for races, and it was actually a lot of fun out there camping. Nice, beautiful campsite. And
so, how do you guys like to camp? What do you think is real camping?
I used to be the firm believer of camping a tent, and age catches up to you. So I've got a 32-foot camper, and they've got a 32-foot camper too. So
hey, that's camping to me.
Yeah. I don't like tents no more. It hurts.
Yeah, right. Is there anybody that you'd like to give some shout outs to?
I'd like to shout out to you guys for one, having us here, and for the other, sponsoring us and supporting us while we race. TMA Auto Spa and Lawn. Travis Hanna is his name. He's out from Leader, Saskatchewan, but he's a big racer, and he's a big believer in allowing people to do what they want, and he's come on board to help us. And Cloverdale Paints, my dad's worked there. He helps me get all my paints and color matches and gets everything when I need it, and a big supporter too. I don't think I miss his mom for helping him.
Oh yeah, good shout out to Mom. All right.
Yeah.
And is there a charity that you'd like to give a shout out to?
The Children's Hospital in Calgary here, actually. I'd like to try setting something up to help them out this year and get them some donations and all that stuff too. So
awesome. Well, hey, we'd like to participate in that with you for sure. So let us know how that's going to go. All right. Well, thank you, Addie, and thank you, Nick, for coming along to sit with us today. And if anybody wants to be on the podcast, give us a call, a text, anytime.
We've actually got a question that came in during the interview From Matt Dalton, he's just a little curious about how he can become a sponsor, or just if you can provide him more information about being a sponsor and how to become one.
I actually have a sponsorship proposal letter. I believe I sent that to you, but I have another one that's drawn up. And if he'd like to reach out, I'll do a comment in the post after, and he can reach out and we can talk a little, and I'll send him my proposal and go from there.
Alrighty, well, I'm sure he heard you. So yeah, I'm sure he'll check for that.
Thank you.
Great. Well, that concludes today's podcast, and thanks for watching, and give us a question, comments anytime. Team BAM Racing wants to hear from you as well, so let us know.
Thank you.